All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Mark of Balance. My name is Mark, and sheesh. Those are my thoughts on the new Andor trailer. I'm so sorry I did not get you this reaction earlier. I know it's been about a week and a half since the trailer dropped, but trust me, I've been wanting to talk about it. I haven't had the time, but I've been rewatching it every day since it's dropped. It is my favorite Star Wars trailer, probably since the last Rise of Skywalker trailer with that over-the-top Star Wars theme song that they kind of beefed up for that trailer. Still one of the best things to come out of the sequel trilogy, just that singular trailer music. And honestly, the other trailer that comes to mind is the Rogue One trailer where the Imperial siren's going off, and that's when they cut. I think it was like the first or second teaser trailer for it, but without a doubt, this Andor trailer is something special. And it's a weird way to word it, but I feel like this is the first Star Wars trailer that I could show to a friend or like someone that's not a big Star Wars fan, and they would be really impressed with it. I don't know if that makes sense, but I just feel the production value, the quality of the shots are just so interesting and up to the caliber of Star Wars that I feel Star Wars TV shows really haven't gotten to that point yet. I mean, Mandalorian season 1 and 2 have been great, but this has like a scale to it that rivals the movies. And it just gives me like pride as a Star Wars fan because I know Star Wars TV shows have so much more in the tank that they could give. I know they can be so much better than they've been. Not saying they haven't been great in moments, but I think overall they've been just okay and they haven't really pushed the boundaries. But this trailer really just gives me hope that that'll change. And like I said, if I showed this to like someone that was like a very casual Star Wars fan or maybe not even a Star Wars fan at all, I feel like they would be like, damn, this Star Wars thing looks pretty cool, right? And that's what I try to spread with the podcast is getting people that don't necessarily love Star Wars to appreciate it and people that are casual fans to really love it. So I just think this trailer did a great job of that. This is not going to be the shit on Obi-Wan episode, but I'm just going to compare this trailer and the shots in it to Obi-Wan because that was the most recent show we got, and there was so much hype and expectation around it, and having a legacy character in it, you thought there would be more care put into it, and I felt like it did fall short in a lot of aspects, and within the first couple shots of this trailer, you can almost see the quality difference, not just with the scale, but just the focus pull shots of, looking over that mining facility and the kid standing on the cliff and then the camera kind of just pulling out and just like the saturation of colors. I don't know if that's just because the Rogue One universe that they've established is this really awesome gritty color palette that is super grounded and maybe I'm just really attracted to it. But I think there are just several shots in this trailer that really blow anything Obi-Wan did out of the water. I mean, the scale of this show is massive. We have shots of Coruscant, so we're going to have some political intrigue with my girl, Mon Mothma. I'm going to be a red-headed simp for the next 4 months, however long the show is out for. Mon Mothma, I cannot wait for her character in the show. She has deserved the spotlight for so long. I just finished the Leia Princess of Alderaan book, and Mon Mothma was only in a couple chapters, but she was fantastic, and I cannot wait to see what she does on screen. Just the one bit we got from her in the trailer of her saying, if everyone thinks I'm a nuisance, then maybe they won't realize what I'm really doing. I love that kind of cat and mouse game they're going to play with the political side of things. I think we're obviously going to see Bail show up at some point. I don't know if he'll be a big focal point, but there's no way Mon Mothma is going to be working in a bubble here. She's going to have allies, and I can't wait to see how they deal with it. It's going to be so awesome. And guys, we're going to be on Coruscant again. Like, in the Senate chamber. Did you see how great it looked? Do you know who's going to be in the middle of that? Do you know Emperor Palpatine is going to show up in the show? Because he's going to be there. And it's going to be beautiful. And I cannot wait to be back on Coruscant in 2022. I know Obi-Wan just gave us a little bit of it, but this is going to be like in the weeds. I cannot wait. It's going to be beautiful. Yes. Aside from the Coruscant aspect of the trailer, we get a huge character arc just for Stellan Skarsgård's character himself. We see him go from this senator or this bureaucrat on Coruscant to this hardened rebel. So we obviously know something terrible happens to him where he completely changes his mind on what he feels about the Empire. Maybe Mon Mothma's part of that. I know it's all connected somehow, but he gets pretty much just like a character arc here. We see him over probably a decade or so. And I love that he's like the focal point of this trailer. Diego Luna's in it as Cassian, but I feel like Stellan Skarsgård just steals the show here. I mean, he does that in everything he's in. I love him in every role he does, but I think he'll bring so much greatness to this show and to the Star Wars universe. So I'm really excited for his character, and I think he's going to be a really morally gray guy right in the middle, and we don't know him at all. So he's a new character. We don't know his fate. We don't see him, so we don't know where we can assume he probably dies, but we don't know his fate, and I just really love that we're at the point where we can see characters where we don't know where they're going to go. It's good. Even though it's a prequel show, we need to add some tension, so excited for him. And how can you not love his voice? Cassian Andor. I'm not slipping. Obviously, show's named after Andor, so Cassian is another focal point of the trailer. Him as a kid, seems like the Empire comes to his home world, starts a mining operation, and he kind of grows up in the shadow of the Empire, and probably similar to Ezra, cons them, and eventually as he gets bigger, he gets bolder, and he kind of is a loose cannon until Skarsgård finds him and tries to recruit him into this budding rebellion. But Cassian was my favorite part of Rogue One, as I've said in previous episodes, so though I haven't really been an advocate for getting more Andor backstory because I felt like Rogue One kind of encapsulated him perfectly, and his line about being in this fight since he was 6 years old, I thought that really told the story for the show, but I am excited to see him grow up in this dark part of the universe and explore that and see those glimpses of what we'll eventually know him as in Rogue One here. And yeah, obviously Diego Luna is great, so I'm excited to see what they do with his character. And a mining operation. What could the Empire be mining for? This might be a bit of a deep cut, but in one of the Thrawn books, they mention the Empire's need to stockpile a certain heavy metal to build a rather large battle station that we might be familiar with in the Rogue One universe that Cassian might have some beef with later on, especially if someone is mining for that certain metal to build the giant battle station that you now want to destroy because maybe it destroyed your childhood home because they needed to take the metal from the ground and that destroyed your village and your family, and the Empire is now your sworn enemy, and now the symbol of your sworn enemy is this huge Death Star made of the metal that came out of the ground under your feet of your native village, and now you destroying it complete your character arc in Rogue One. I don't know. Just a theory. The heavy metal is called dunium. If you were wondering, it's used by the Empire to build their Star Destroyers and their Death Star, if that wasn't made clear already. And back to our regularly scheduled programming. And of course, I got to give a shout out to Forrest Whitaker. He's like Tamara Morrison. He always shows up for Star Wars. Movies, video games, TV shows, animated TV shows. He's always there, and he's always down to give his all to the Star Wars universe, and I so appreciate him for it. I don't know why I didn't think he would be in this show, or it just didn't come to mind, but so glad he's here. You're going to see that radical aspect of the rebellion, people that don't think diplomacy and, working together will be able to bring down the Empire. We need to take the fight to them. So I'm sure we're going to get some pretty intense and pretty dark stuff with him to see what operations he pulls as this outlaw kind of guy. But shout out to Forrest Whitaker. He did the Rebels voiceover. He did Jedi Fallen Order. He did Rogue One. Now he's doing this TV show. He's just awesome. I love when, actors that are this big come back to the universe in any way, shape, or form. Can't wait to see what they do with him here. And then I just want to talk about the Empire in this trailer. Obviously, we see the scale of their power. We see their hold they have over civilians, over these worlds, the fear that they impose on these people, and the characters that they kind of give us glimpses of. So we see this new ISB agent. I don't know her name, but I like the vibe she's giving off here, kind of the gotta prove myself, gotta make a name for myself within the Empire, very serious, very stern about her work. And I liked her line in here where she's like, "You're in my net. Are you a fish or are you a thief?" I hope that kind of writing continues with her, and we don't know much about her, but we think she's going to be that pursuing ISB agent to Andor, to Stellan Skarsgård, to whoever. So excited to see her aspect of this. I like the way they frame the Empire as, so satisfied and fat. They feel like they've won. They're kind of just resting on their laurels. They're letting corruption take over. They're all bureaucrats. They're taking over these worlds, and imposing their will while also making money on the side. I just really love the aspect of the Empire behind the scenes, so it'll be cool to see the inner workings of that on a galaxy-wide scale. And I think I want to emphasize that this show is the first Star Wars show, live action show, that has that grand space opera feel to it that made the prequels and the originals so special. They were Star Wars. And of course, I appreciate the intimate character shows that we've gotten with Mandalorian, Obi-Wan, and Boba Fett. I feel like intimate character shows are important to Star Wars, and I want them to keep exploring those. But there has been that lack of epicness to Star Wars, if that's the right word. And this one feels like a galaxy-spanning conflict compared to the other ones. You have the Imperial element, these new characters on the Imperial side, whether they're high-ranking officials, ISB officers, or some of these like local militia that are hired by the Empire or paid by the Empire. You have Stellan Skarsgård, this fallen politician or bureaucrat within the Empire moving to the rebellion and resistance. We have Mon Mothma plotting on Coruscant. We have the other character, I don't know who it was, but she has like the hood on and she's like, this is what resistance is like or something like that. I don't know what she does, but she seems like another aspect they're going to fold in. We have Andor, of course. We have Forrest Whitaker operating outside the boundaries of all of it. It just seems like it has that grand feel to it that Star Wars might have been missing. And though the sequels took place on a bunch of different planets and it obviously showed that the First Order was super powerful with their Starkiller base and everything, I never got that sense that the prequels gave me of a galaxy-spanning political intrigue story. And here, I feel like they've captured that a lot better than the sequels did over 3 movies. Once again, this is a trailer, so I might be super gassing this up, and we've had amazing Star Wars trailers before that have turned into very average or below average content, so I do want to, take all of this with a grain of salt, but I think the recipe for something special and great is all on display in this show. The music was super intense. The crescendo at the end that lasted like 20 seconds was ridiculous. I still get chills just listening to it as the images are just firing at your face. And the scale that they show with the Empire and the different planets, I think is another huge aspect that's been missing that I feel plays into the strengths of this show. The Rogue One universe itself is already super beloved, and the feeling and tone of it is so engaging. And like I started this off with, the shots in this trailer are very cool and interesting, more interesting than what we've gotten in previous shows. And I just think that all those kind of embody that this show could be something special. And early reviews are already saying that it's much different than what everyone would usually expect out of a Star Wars show, which is exactly what I want. And the other aspect that I think is kind of paramount to the success that this show could have is that it's already planned out. They already said it's going to be 3 seasons. This season is going to be 12 episodes. Next season, we're already starting the filming, like this year or next year. Like, they already have a plan of where this story is going to go. And as we all know, Disney Star Wars is not very good at having a plan. So hearing that this series has a beginning, middle, end, we know that there will be this many seasons, and it's not a cash grab. We're looking at a character that was not a huge moneymaker. He was just a part of a huge moneymaker film. But I wouldn't say Cassian Andor is a Han Solo, a Boba Fett, a Obi-Wan. Of course he's not. He's not that legacy character. So it's not a money grab. It seems like there's an artistic vision here that I initially was not interested in. But then I saw this trailer and I said, okay, this is different than the other Star Wars show. This could be something special. This trailer just makes me think that the show is going to be more of a drama than any of the other Star Wars series. I feel Obi-Wan had those goofy moments that really retracted from the seriousness of the story being told. Boba Fett, same thing. This just seems like it's going to be more committed to the idea of telling a dramatic story within the Star Wars galaxy. I couldn't identify one comedic relief character in the trailer at all, and not saying I don't want comedy, not those moments of levity, but I mean, Cassian wasn't the comedic relief in Rogue One. K2, his partner, was. Stellan Skarsgård is only funny when he gets angry, and it's not even like he's trying to be funny. His voice is just hilarious, and when he gets angry, he's just a funny guy. It's just everything about the show is very serious in tone, and I think it's just kind of gonna live in that space, which I appreciate. And while this trailer was expansive, I think it'll follow the trend of every other Star Wars trailer, and that's that this is just a small sliver of the content that we'll get over this whole season. I mean, the Obi-Wan trailer only showed footage from the first 3 episodes, maybe 2.5 episodes. So while this trailer looked like it showed a lot, I really guess that it's probably showing only footage from maybe the first 3 or 4 episodes out of 12. So that's something to be really excited about as well. But yeah, just my concluding thought, this is going to sound really dramatic, but this trailer kind of restored my hope in future Star Wars content. I was pretty discouraged after Obi-Wan, even though the finale did a good job of wrapping everything up. I feel overall, with something that we were all so excited for and a character that's so beloved, to be treated, in all honesty, very loosely, I felt, with the quality that we got with that show. I was like, damn, how are we going to expect any other show about any other character to get more love than something like Obi-Wan? But then this trailer dropped and proved me wrong. So as always, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your patience. I know this took a while to come out, and the schedule over the next couple weeks is going to be pretty rough. It's a very busy time in my life over this next month or so, so I'm really going to try to get episodes out on a more consistent basis, but I don't want to promise everything, but I have a lot planned. Of course, when Cassian drops, I'm going to be doing weekly episode reviews. I have a bunch of Star Wars story interviews to pull together. I have a lot of people I've been in talks with, so super excited for those. Also, some other passion projects around Disney and their handling of Star Wars, and my big thesis about Star Wars needing to move away from the Skywalker saga. I'm pulling it together an episode for that, but as I said, I'm not sure when I'll be able to release all this stuff. I'm still working on it, and it's a very busy time, but thank you for your patience. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want to see more content like this, follow me on Instagram at @star_wars_mark of balance. Would really appreciate it. Leave a review on this episode or the podcast itself if you are enjoying it. That also helps with the algorithm, the almighty algorithm, whatever. But yes, thank you for listening. Stay safe, stay healthy, and may the Force be with you. Peace.